We talked a little bit about water, but the body toxins from water that's coming in, water is definitely the key to life. I mean, everything functions around the water. 90% of the population is dehydrated chronically. Fluoride, chlorine, arsenic, they're finding so many things at high levels in the water. Even with I didn't put it up here, but even with the fracking that's going on, which is damaging the earth. I mean, people are getting natural gas in their water that they're drinking. Pesticides, prescription medications, the antidepressant residue that's showing up in the water supply over in Europe right now is so high, it's almost equivalent of you taking an antidepressant if you drink about a half a gallon of water a day out of the tap. Parasites in the water, bacteria, heavy metals in the water. Another controversial issue is fluoride. Fluoride is the second most common toxic agent known to man, just behind arsenic. And dental fluorosis is so common right now in children because children are drinking fluoridated water, tap water. Anytime you go to a restaurant, they're using tap water the majority of the time. You go to coffee shop in the morning, they're probably using tap water for that. Anytime that you have at a restaurant, you eat any meals, most likely it was cooked with some sort of water. Fluoride toxicity is everywhere. I mean, it's one of those things where you pretty much can't avoid it. One of the things that it does is it calcifies the pineal gland. If any one of you have heard of your third eye, it's the pineal gland in the middle of your head. It's what, according to scientists or researchers in spirituality, say that's your connection with God. You can actually take and dissect the pineal gland, and it's made of rods and cones, just like your eyeballs are. Pineal gland is the organ that sucks in fluoride the most and the fastest of every organ in the body. Also, the pineal gland helps regulate your hormones, serotonin, melatonin, all your feel-good hormones. Basically, what you have with fluoride is a calcification of the pineal gland, which actually ends up making you lethargic. It makes you almost like a zombie walking around. It dumbs people down. It lowers the IQ in children. I mean, I highly suggest you do tons of research on the effects of fluoride in your body. Mental retardation is another thing. It's a byproduct of the fertilizer and aluminum manufacturing, and it's used severely. Again, most of the countries in Europe have banned fluoridation, and Dallas actually just banned fluoridation. So how to eliminate toxins from water? Water purification system, if you have the money, you can do it for the whole house, but make sure that you get a unit that will eliminate fluoride. And I do have some of those units available. If you contact us, I'll give you some of that information. But a lot of people don't realize that they wash their clothes in tap water, they wash their dishes, all that stuff, we're soaking up all the fluoride, and they take a shower. And a 7-minute hot shower is the equivalent of you drinking about 4 to 5 glasses of tap water. What I always recommend is to drink purified or distilled water with organic apple cider vinegar. I like distilled water, but distilled water is kind of a dead water. It's clean, the fluoride and everything's out of it. Even the purified water still might have some fluoride in it. But when you drink distilled water, it's fine to drink for a short period of time because it'll actually help you detoxify. It'll grab things because it's hungry. But then it might actually start taking some of your minerals or nutrients from your body. So I always recommend to add a little organic apple cider, raw apple cider vinegar into it. And that puts the minerals, the life force back into it, the nutrients. I mean, organic apple cider vinegar, raw apple cider vinegar is probably the cheapest, best healing agent that I can think of that everybody should be on because it's so good for you. There's like 150 different health uses for organic apple cider vinegar. Rainwater is good if you live in a good place. If you just let it rain for like 15 minutes first and then collect it, it's pretty clean. If you're into rainwater, it has a real high energy content to it. But 80 to 100% of your daily liquid intake should be water. The body, like I said, and the earth is made of water. After you're done breastfeeding, your body doesn't tell you and cry out for colas and alcohol and all the other stuff. The only thing your body needs and wants is water. And if you do have a pool and you're soaking in a chlorine pool or something, I would look into getting a salt or a copper ozone type pool system to prevent the chlorine. Next, we look at the body toxins that you're going to be exposed to from different beverages, colas, juices, energy drinks, bottled beverages, refined sugar, high fructose corn syrup. High fructose corn syrup is actually genetically modified, or it's made from genetically modified corn. And recent tests have shown that it's high in metals, especially mercury. So look at the label. And actually they're trying to relabel right now, the lobbyists are trying to relabel high fructose corn syrup under different names like natural corn sugar and stuff like that, because so many people are looking at high fructose corn syrup. And the artificial sweeteners, again, sucralose, aspartame, saccharin, those are the ones that you want to avoid. Those are the ones that for sure have been documented to cause brain damage and all different types of symptoms. Coffee, alcohol, tea, milk. I'm not saying that you need to completely give up everything in your life, because I'm just going to say that now before I get too far into this, because it's really about moderation. It really is. I mean, it's when you do things constantly. The body is amazing. You know, if you want to have a cup of coffee, just make sure it's organic coffee made with good water. The toxins in coffee are because 80% of the world's coffee supply is heavily pesticide. If you've ever talked to or been to a coffee plantation, they'll always tell you the worst thing is the bugs. They never control the bugs. And they spray the coffee beans heavily with pesticides. So you're taking the pesticide toxic coffee and you're replacing it with organic, non-toxic. All you're doing with all this is you're just eliminating the toxic things. You're replacing the toxic processed foods with organic foods. Now, if you drink like 5, shots of espresso, 7 shots of espresso a day, and you do it every single day, then that might become a problem in your body. But if everything is in moderation with your body, that's the way it works. That's why, some people you see that look healthy get sick, and some other people that you would think that should be sick as can be are not sick. Really, that has to do with their emotional state, which we'll get into, because that was one of the puzzling things that we had to research, a project that we did years ago. This is what goes into a normal cow. Vaccines, rendered food. You don't even want to know what rendered food is. Most of the food, it's all dead animals and all kinds of stuff that they mix it up and they mix it in with the dried food and they feed it. Hormones, pesticides, antibiotic. They actually feed cows sometimes even other cow blood. So milk is extremely dangerous if it's not organic, and you can look up, they just tested milk, regular milk, and they found something like 300 pus molecules per glass of milk, because all the cows, their nipples are inflamed and infected because they all have mastitis when they use those machines. So a bunch of pus gets into the milk, and they found over 50 pesticides in the milk too. And they found actually radiation in there and all kinds of stuff. So, and milk is one of those things that's just not good for the body anyway, unless it's raw goat's milk or raw range-fed organic cow's milk. Going into some aspartame, this is the scary thing about aspartame. It's like so many people drink diet drinks. Aspartame breaks it down into methanol, which is wood alcohol in your body. Then the methanol converts to formaldehyde in the body. Aspartame accounts for over 75% of all the adverse reactions reported to the FDA. Those are reported. Who in here has ever reported anything to the FDA, an adverse reaction? Nobody. Over 75% of the adverse reactions, FDA. People say, what's the one thing I can do that's going to make a difference? I'll say, well, first you have to clean up your air. Second, you have to get off artificial sweeteners because they're so damaging. Here's what happens. The formaldehyde then causes gradual and eventually severe damage to the neurological system, the immune system, and causes permanent genetic damage at extremely low doses. It's approved for human consumption. How do you eliminate toxins from beverages? You reduce all the toxic beverages, you drink purified, distilled water with organic apple cider vinegar, herbal teas, organic herbal teas, because now they're finding high fluoride and chemical content in the teas coming from China. You know, start using hemp milk, almond milk, coconut milk. I mean, those are great milks. You can even experiment and mix them together. Raw goat's milk. Or if you need to have cow's milk, then you can use organic raw cow's milk if you can find somebody to provide it to you. And better yet, just fresh vegetable juice, fruit juice, not the processed pasteurized stuff, but the fresh vegetable juice and fruit juices. You can even buy these at some of the new organic food stores and stuff like that already bottled.